relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills. When you're sick, you need medicine. It don't always taste good, but it'll get you better. You need this medicine. It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need. Men and women, bottom line, we need to have the conversation. Your partner wants to give up control, but only if you know how to drive. This is about being the best you could ever be, whoever you are. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, LGBTQ, space aliens. I'll save anybody. I don't care. I'll teach a hedgehog how to have a threesome.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you don't have to listen to me, but you're wrong. Listen, I know I'm great. And I know you're thinking, Dante, there's no way I could be like you. But you could be me, you know why? Because you know who I was? Before I was me, I was you. Man score 202.
Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.
Yo, what up? GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? The sexual revolution is being podcasted. And I'm excited, y'all. What's going on? Good to be back. I'm just letting everybody come in. So we get back in the building, get back on the grind. Absolutely. I had a little oral surgery, my people. So haven't been in. If anybody in the chat, what's up, Xavier? Danny, what up? If you can hear me nice and clear, please, give me a thumbs up, please. Haven't been live in a minute. I was out in England. I was filming some stuff, been running around, and then I wasn't feeling too well. So, but I'm back and better than ever. So there's that. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate you. People coming in the chat, lot to talk about. School hasn't been in session in a minute. So, what up, Wood Shredder? What's going on? Thumbs up from him. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of things that I've been thinking about. But I really want y'all to Ghost Dog in the building. What's going on? Let me see. Let me put the numbers up. I'm sorry. I'm a little rusty, people. Little rusty. Telephone numbers up, 929-269-4922. We haven't been live in a minute, so there's that. But I also got a lot to talk about. A lot on my mind, a lot of things in perspective, my own personal growth. So what I find a lot of times is that as I'm growing as a 58-year-old man, I realize this thing never stops in. It never stops. The learning never stops. The figuring out, even the stuff that I feel like we have established an understanding about. There's always a nuance to that. There's always a nuance where we can be more specific, be more precise. And I realized the importance in not wasting time is super important. The only way we keep from wasting time is by being precise, very intentful by what we're doing. Shay, what up? And I feel like there's never room where you can't where you can't do better, you know. And doing better is the thing that makes your life better, makes your life easier. So we can be lazy, we can procrastinate, and all of those things, but we need to understand that if we are aware of what needs to be done and we don't do it, it's our fault. And we don't get to complain. We don't get to whine about, ultimately, to whine about what we don't have, what we wish we had, what we wish we had done. It's one thing if we don't know. Big shout to Salim in the building. What's going on? Um, we don't get to bitch about what we don't have if we didn't work at trying to get it. I remember when I was younger, I have a cousin of mine who passed the bar exam, became a lawyer. And I remember feeling a little jealous about it, feeling like, hey, um, man, why am I not a lawyer? But I never went to law school. So how ridiculous is it for me to um, be in a situation where I care about something that I have not even put the time, the effort, or the energy into achieving something that I want. And the bottom line is, if we want it, we got to go get it. I don't believe that there's a limit. What up, Mel? I don't believe there's a limit to what we can have. If I mean, now, well, let me rephrase that. It's not that I don't think that there's a limit. There probably is a limit to what we can have or what we can't have. But if we haven't made an attempt to appreciate what the time and the opportunity that we have, and we haven't made the attempt to really push ourselves to the limits, then what? Then what do we ended up with? Then we don't know what that limitation is. So let's figure out let's figure out what those limitations are. Let's get out there and really see what we're capable of. You win some, you learn some. Notice how I said that? You win, and people say you win some, you lose some. I go, you win some, you learn some. Meaning every time you lose, you're learning. You have information that you didn't have before, things that didn't work before, things that you might have thought as options. Now you know not that those things are not options because they're not sustainable, or they're not things that put you in a situation where you can actually achieve some of your goals and be what you want to be. I've also come to this conclusion. I feel like overall, I am so surrounded by I'm so surrounded by people who are just patentedly unaware of their own shit. People say common sense is common. It ain't common. Uh, things that you think is obvious, things that are obvious to you is not obvious to everybody else. And I think that we have to give grace to that for people, to give people space to catch up. To the same token, if people are not if they're not open to listen, open to learn, you got to get rid of these people in your life. You got to hang around the people who want better, or at least who are not willing to stand in your way. Or at least somebody who is by their example, they're pursuing some level of success in whatever to whatever that situation is. What do you want to be? we all, I mean, on a base level, we are all human beings. We want to be, we are, we want companionship. We want relationships. We want to be loved. We want to be validated. We want to love people. And what you find, uh, what we find is that you that's just a part of living. I was watching a lot of Kevin Samuels old stuff, and I always like the way he holds people accountable, but I also don't like the way that the way that he simplifies life as if there's not an emotional state. Wait, real quick. Adrian, Adrian, a teen says, "What's your top highlights from the book? Get anyone to do anything." That's an interesting question. So I've recommended this book several times. It's a little, I call it. It's like a little life handbook, and it's called "Get Anybody to Do Anything" by Dr. Bob. Oh shit! What the fuck happened? Oh, by Bob Lieberman. And one of the I'm not sure which. I wonder if I have it here. Um, no, I don't know where it is right now. But one of the lessons in that book is something that I always go back to. This is that people don't find you attractive by what you do for them. What makes them attracted to you is what they do for you. This is a really important concept because overall, it's so counterintuitive to what we normally think is the case. So you meet a young lady or whatever, you meet a man or whatever, and you want to impress them to whatever degree you want that to happen. And you buy flowers and you take them out to fancy restaurants and you buy purses and none of that builds attraction. What builds attraction is what they do for you. Let me be clear about this. This is a really important concept because we don't think this. We think if we want to get somebody's attention, we got to do things for them. But this is an interesting concept because the reason why that doesn't work is because what do we find attractive? I've asked this 100 times, and guys usually give the right answer when I've done consultations and whatever. They usually answer this right. What do we like most about our counterparts? We like that they like us. That's the first thing that we like. The problem is, if we do things that we have not earned, it doesn't have any meaning for us. For instance, if you get a kid and you get some rich kid and it doesn't even have to be rich. One of my ex-best friends, his father passed away, had a heart attack, came home, found his dad passed away on the kitchen floor. And then he had to take, he was like 16, 17 years old, instantly had to become a man. And the interesting about that is it's always interesting how those things affect us overall. What I mean is, he felt like, oh, I gotta buckle up. I can't be a child anymore. I gotta take care of it. His mom was still alive. So he took care of his mom and he was running around and doing whatever. But he put his nose to the grindstone because he knew he didn't have anybody to back him up no more. And but what happened was when he had his own kids, right? He was stricken by the fact that he didn't have the support, and so he wanted to give his kid everything that he didn't have. So there was this overcompensation for his son that he always did things for his son unnecessarily. So he bought a car for him. 2 weeks later, put the car in a ditch. Bought him another car. He wrecked that car. So one of the things about that I remember us being friends and him, raising his son, and I'm just thinking, I remember the first car that I got. My dad never gave me a car, right? I saved my money. I think I was like $1,400. I saved up and I bought my first. It was a vomit green Chevy Chevette with vinyl interior, and but I loved that car. I shined the rust off that car. But the reason why it meant something to me was because I earned it. And when we don't earn something, we don't value it. A lot of times, like Kevin Samuels would do stuff about women not being accountable, but so much of this is just human behavior. We don't care about the things that we don't earn. And because we don't care about it, we take it for granted. And so as long as he just kept buying cars for his son kept wrecking them. And the point of it was this: when you have to earn something, it means more. So here's the thing: when you give, if you have a significant other, or even somebody who you're interested in, you making them a part of your life is what builds the bond, that relationship bond. Because of the fact that people do things for you, right? Or you have people do things for you, right? It gives them purpose in their life. And I understand that sounds arrogant. But if you think about it, you think about women who date, it's a guy who's always a fuck up, right? Why does this woman, no matter how many times he gets arrested, no matter how many times she has to bail him out, no matter how many times why does she feel connected to him? She feels connected to him because he gives her purpose. Subconsciously in her head, she's going, this guy needs me. He gives me purpose. What would he do without me? How would he even focus? How would he even pay his bills? How would he, if I'm not important? Now, don't get me wrong. All of that stuff gets stale after a while when the emotions change and stuff. But initially, it's a good feeling to be needed. And when somebody needs you, in the context of them needing you, gives you focus, creates attraction. And I learned this myself. My first marriage, I got married. I was raising her 2-year-old at the time. It wasn't till later I started doing comedy in 2000. And when I first started comedy, I was very insecure about doing comedy. I didn't think that people would find me funny. So the first thing I did was I studied everything. I studied every book on stand-up comedy, joke writing, sketch, anything I could get my hands on, I studied, right? So at a very early part of my career, I was pretty good because I understood the fundamentals. A lot of y'all, I've talked about this before when I talk about how I got into fencing. and how when I first started fencing, it was 6 months that I was just walking around with my finger for 6 months, just trying to get my footwork together. And this holds true in every other situation, in boxing and martial arts and everything. Anyway, but I was insecure about comedy. She went to every show that I ever did. Everything that I wrote, I would say, is this funny? Do you like this? Do you think this is funny? And we had a ball because, I needed her. Her opinion mattered. Her opinion mattered, and I cared, and I constantly looked for her approval, and she felt like she was a part of my life. But as I gained some level of proficiency, yeah, Felicia, I'm feeling better. Thank you, darling. But as I gained more proficiency, I stopped asking her opinion. She stopped becoming part of my whole growth in comedy. I just had no real need to ask her. First of all, I had gotten funny. I had an understanding. I was hanging around some comics that were 20-year comics, at least 10, 12-year comics. I mean, I think Patrice had already been doing comedy for 10 years already, and he was amazing at that time. I remember thinking I never saw anything like him doing comedy. Anyway, fast forward, I stopped asking her opinion, and she stopped wanting to come. So when I would go out, have a show here and there, and you want to come? No. And I thought I was just being a good husband. Like, why would I make somebody come to something that they don't want to be in, right? And then she went back to school, and she started doing other things. I think she took dance classes or some other crap. And I just thought, and not only did she take dance classes and stuff, but I sponsored it. It was literally a situation that whatever she wanted to do it as a husband, I was like, well, whatever she wants to do, I'm going to facilitate that. She wants to go back to school. I'll help her in any way possible so that she can find happiness. And what happened, any book, Adrian, any book. It's just Judy Gold, not Judy Gold. I forget the name. I'll post the comedy book, but they were all basically, the bottom line is you got to get out there and do it. But it's always good to have there's a book called The Comedy Bible that'll give you at least joke structure. But the bottom line is you have to get out there and do it. Anyway, she stopped coming. She started doing her own thing. I was doing my own thing. I thought it was great. I was like, I'm just being a dope husband because she don't want to come. I don't want to make her do something she don't want to do. I didn't really need her help anymore because I had kind of outgrew her advice. It wasn't like she was studying comedy like I was, and I was the one learning. And so I just surpassed her ability, that I stopped asking her questions, but she intricately didn't become a part of that life. And that was such a big part of my life. If I wasn't working at the phone company, if I wasn't taking care of my mom, I was writing comedy or doing comedy. And if I wasn't doing married stuff or being a stepdad or whether I was doing comedy. And I'm pretty sharp, so I picked up quick. And her opinion just didn't matter to me. I wasn't being mean. It just, she was going to school and I was going to the school of stand-up comedy. I was in them streets. What I realized is that after a while, her life and my life became separate. We didn't have any connection. I mean, she lived her life. I lived my life. We lived in the same house. We were raising her daughter, but I mean, she wasn't really into being a mother anyway. And so we just grew apart. And I learned that then that you gotta, especially when you're a person who's intentful, Um, um, you know, when you're talking about people, you're intentful. You have a tendency to just look forward, and you're not. But if you want a relationship, and this is an interesting thing, I say this to dudes all the time, and I shouldn't just say dudes, but I mostly say it to dudes. I say, guys, people will have a dog. They'll buy a dog, buy a puppy. And let's be honest. At the bare minimum, if you buy a puppy, you expect 10, 12 years of having this dog, right? From the time the dog's a puppy all the way until the dog gets old, until the dog can't stand up. It can't, it shits on itself. You got to carry it to the vet. But human beings, grown ass people will make that commitment. They will make that commitment to a dog and not make the same gravity, not even have the same gravity of a commitment that they have to a marriage. It's insane. And nobody's dog doesn't end up without arthritis where it can't walk, it can't climb the stairs and shit. So we know how it turns out. And that, you might get lucky where you get a dog maybe 16, if you're lucky 18 years, but we know that at the end of, but we willingly, as adults, we willingly make a commitment knowing that we're going to have to train this dog, walk the dog. We have to walk the dog 2-3 times a day, feed the dog. Any vacation we have, whatever, we have to. Our life is affected by this dog. It's a funny thing is I was watching Kevin Samuels talking about this, how women will have a dog and they'll be trying to date, and it's like if you on a vacation and you got a dog, you just can't extend the vacation. You gotta go home. When you want to leave, you gotta put the dog. You gotta find somebody to watch the dog and take it. So it's interesting, especially if you're trying to find a mate, right? To create these obstacles that don't give you the freedom, especially women. Because a guy who's talking, starts dating a woman and she's got a dog, right? Now you got to worry about this motherfucker gonna bite you. He's possessive. He wants to get in the bed. She wants the companionship, so the dog be in the bed and the dog is growling at you because he sees her. Like, who wants to put up with that? But my point is, as adults, we make those decisions and make a commitment for that. And then when it comes to a marriage or a relationship, we don't even give those things a commitment, whether or not we have the time, the energy, or the veracity to train the dog, walk the dog, clean the poop up, buy the food, the investment of it, the time, the energy. And so it's interesting to me how as adults we'll make a decision like that and then not make a decision when it comes to a relationship that we're trying to cultivate. I mean, how many times have we seen a situation when some kid goes, "Daddy, Daddy, give me a puppy." You get the puppy, and then I'm not going to get this dog because I'm not walking this dog, and you as the father ends up walking the dog every day. It's 5:00 in the morning. You got your pajamas on and your flip flops, and you walking a dog in the snow somewhere. My point is, it's where is the understanding of the commitment that we need to make to each other? Because here's the thing, here's the reality. We can be in a relationship, we can be compatible, we can be open, we can be honest, we can be authentic, we can be credible, we can be empathetic, and the relationship could still run its course and you end up splitting up for whatever reason. But if that is the case, if just the sheer time in which we put in a relationship that things change, right? Just that alone If that matters, right? How come we don't put the same energy in our relationships? I'll give you an example. I was talking about giving people purpose in your life. One of a lot of people talk about the game and uh, I forget the game and mystery and pickup artist stuff. One of the things that you would, whenever there was this whole movement and television shows about the game and mystery and all of this. One of the things they would do is a guy would go, "Oh, could you hold? I'm gonna leave. I'm getting ready to go to the bathroom. Could you keep an eye on my coat?" And it's a way of getting a woman to comply, because it's not about the coat. It's about the fact that she's willing to watch your coat. You're asking her to do something, and because you're asking her to do something for you, if she says yes, it's an indication of interest. These are all little techniques, little psychological techniques that dirtbag pickup artists kind of use to manipulate women into situations that they probably don't deserve to be in, or they don't really want to. Their intentions are not always the best. Problem with that is the way things are differently now is because if you're lying and you're fooling somebody, right, and you end up, banging uglies because you fooled her, she can also, now there's a situation with the Me Too movement. She can say you coerced her, you pushed her, you tricked her. And then you can end up, and this is why authenticity is important, because you don't want somebody to have buyer's remorse about the fact that they have given you time, energy in an intimate way, or just time in general. You can fool people, but there's always this. I mean, you might be able to get away with it, but there's always a consequence. Wait, we got a call. Hold on. I don't know why this is not ringing. That's weird. Why don't I
To
hear it?
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press...
What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Dante? Hey, it's Baltimore. I'm calling from Washington State.
What's going on, brother? How can I help you?
Hey, man, just want to say I love the show, and I do need some help. That probably want to consult with you later, but I want to kind of tell you what's going on.
All right, let's shoot. Let's get it.
So I'm trying to get so I have this threesome happening in the horizon. It will be my first threesome.
Okay.
I'm just trying to maybe get an idea of any pitfalls I should be aware of.
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole book I could write on that, which I know they get ready to get in my ass if I don't finish this book. But
So currently I'm in the looking. I guess we're sifting through people that she would be okay with.
Okay, wait a minute.
And
are you looking for the people, or is she?
We both are. We decided we both are. But my thing was originally I wanted her to look for them, but she's been a little too slow.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is she into women?
She is. Yeah. We talked about
I mean,
that.
has she dated women before?
Oh yeah. No, she has. She has.
Like where where she just dabbled, or somebody she actually dated, like had a girlfriend, had a woman as a girlfriend?
She's had 3 girlfriends before.
Okay.
For a while. Yeah.
All right. So the reason why I asked that first is because if you have this idea about a threesome, right, and she's not on board, right, your relationship is doomed, because you're pushing this down her throat, and excuse the pun, and she don't want it. It's one thing if she's curious, or she's curious, or she's into that. It's another thing if she's not. You're barking up a tree that's just not going to turn out right. Second of all, you got to understand that anytime you do this, the level of trust that you have to have, because people are insecure, right? Is this your girl? Is this your girlfriend?
Yeah, she's we've been together for 3 years now.
Okay, is she jealous?
I mean, who isn't at some point,
I
right?
mean, there's plenty of people that's jealous. I'm not jealous. If you don't want to be with me, I'm like good riddance, because are you jealous?
Well, I am. I mean, sure, I am. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my thing. You are putting her in a position where she has to decide if if her desire to be with women outweighs her ability to make sure that you don't like somebody better than you like her.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
That's
And
what she
so
has.
the
Also, that's
first
her
thing you
fear.
don't want to do is you don't want to get the girl. If you think about just that simple dynamic, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you bring a girl to her, right? What are you ultimately saying is, so this is somebody who I found attractive that I thought would be good for this, right? And I don't know if you ever seen like jealous women, but there'll be, there's women who get mad at you because they had a dream about you fucking somebody else, Like, I had a dream,
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad at you. You was cheating on me in my sleep. So if you think about it that alone, right? Think about the fact that if you elevate that to a situation where physically you are having physical contact with somebody, and that the relationship has to be so strong that she doesn't think that you're going to find this other woman more attractive. And here's the thing, it's you probably won't, because you don't know this other woman. You don't know. I mean, even if she's bad as hell and she's pretty or whatever, every relationship comes with its own problems, right?
Right.
So there's an old saying is show me Beyonce and I'll show you the guy who wants to not be around her. You know what I mean? So the point is, you're in bar. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Okay, so the first thing she has to know that you are concerned about her jealousy and whatever her concerns are, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're out hunting for the girl, she's gonna assume that you want this more than she wants you to want it. You have to act like this is something that she wants, and you're willing to accommodate her. And even then, when the threesome goes down, you have to put her first. That means she's the first person you kiss. She's the first person you trust. She's the first person you F. She's the first person you go down on. Mm-hmm. She's the first, you know what I mean? Even when it comes to the nut, she's the one that gets the nut. You understand? Like, you have to, she has to be, this other woman has to be almost an object. Almost like a human vibrator, if you can, or human, because if at any given time that you violate and you show this woman any attention that you may not, and even the equal amount of attention, there's a good chance the whole thing's gonna blow up in your face.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I've been listening to you long enough to this is a refresher for sure.
Right. So this is a lot. It's a lot to embark upon, unless and even if she initiates it and she brings the girl and she's comfortable with the girl, you still gotta put her first. Because at any given time, you could do something that would make her think, oh wow, he likes this girl more than he likes me. And the insecurity pumps, and then it becomes, so you have to constantly make it clear to her, look, you don't mind doing this, but if it's going to jeopardize our relationship, I'd rather not do this.
Right.
If you're too anxious, if you're too excited, all of those things communicate to her that you might be, because let's be honest, any relationship we're in, right? Like, I'll give you an example. You're 34 years old.
Yeah.
If you could have sex with any girl you wanted, who would it be? Celebrity, famous, musician, who would it be?
I mean, I would just think about the person I saw yesterday. You know, I wouldn't even go that far.
I'm saying, but if you had your choice, you could pick anybody. Who would you pick?
I would say Angelina Jolie.
Okay,
Sure.
so Angelina Jolie, right? That's your pick, right? So let's be honest. That's your top pick. So everything other than that is a consolation. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because if I give you, so we all are settling for something else. Because our ideal person would be this. And so knowing that in a situation, then you take it to a threesome, there's always this insecurity about what if this person wants me better? The only way you don't have that jealousy is when you know that you got you know that there's no chance that somebody could possibly give somebody more than you can give them. And you got to be really practicing ACE in order to feel that somebody, when somebody leaves you or somebody breaks up with you, or even they say, I don't love you no more, whatever, you gotta be so confident that you're going, yeah, all right, well, good luck with that. I wish you all the luck in the world. See ya. And know that she'll never find nobody else better than you and not question it. So this is a really kind of specific thing you have to do. You have to constantly reinforce the fact that you're not willing to do this at the risk of the relationship. And that if it means risking the relationship, you'd rather not do it. And then you have to she has to find the person. So you're saying she's taking too long? She's probably taking too long because she don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 1 year she was just going through a bit of a depression, but the year before that, we did have like a orgy situation. But then that year went by, and then finally I brought her up 2 years after. Like, you know, I've been waiting for
right.
this.
But I'm saying this is not like,
I asked if she needed help.
You understand? This is not your this is not your lifestyle. There's people that live this lifestyle. You know, there's people that do orgies, wife swap. They're in that life, and because they're in that life, they've had it tested where it's like, this is how we play, and it doesn't matter. But if you had an orgy 2 years ago and y'all haven't had anything other than that, it's not like she was like, oh, let's go back, or let's, where's another one or whatever, and she wasn't in that life, and she's not. Understand something, man. I've never known a woman to want something and not ask it, or not at least make it clear that that's what they want. You understand?
Yeah. So, she understands that, I mean, we talk about me being happy. She understands that I do at some point want to be with other women. And since it just hasn't happened in 2 years.
Well, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened because she doesn't want to do it.
She doesn't want to do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. If what has she not done? What has she wanted to do that she hasn't done? Nothing. Like, when people want to do something, if you got somebody that's in that life and their lifestyle is swinging and swapping and all, you're gonna know that up front, and it's gonna be something that you do and that you do frequently. If she's not working towards move to that point, you have to assume that she doesn't want to do it. Now, if she does it and then it changes, or you're making her feel comfortable enough that she feels that she feels like she can trust you enough to kind of move into that, then that's different. But the first thing you have to do is reinforce her that this wild night is not more important than your relationship. Okay? Because if there's any question of that, she's not going to do it.
Okay. And
if she likes women and she hasn't done it this far, like she is attractive. Do you guys, y'all ever look at women together and talk about which women are attractive or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
play all the time. Yeah.
So she's attracted to women, but she hasn't dabbled in it because she's happy with you. Or she's happy with you and doesn't want you to step out on her.
Yeah. I think that's the fear.
So it's got to be something that she feels comfortable about it, and you are the key foundation to that makes her feel comfortable about that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I feel like that's
and then when it does happen, we can do a consultation, and I'll talk you through
we'll do that.
Yeah, the extents of what you need to do, what specifics of how you have to handle this, because I mean, understand this, man. Once you cross that line, if it goes left, you got to be a really solid dude to get the relationship back to where it was. Okay?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying.
And then the question is, do you want to risk that? Do you want to risk that? And if you do, you do. I'm not. One of the things I always say is I'm not judging. But understand something, that all of this, there's an old saying that Mike Tyson says, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. Everybody wants a threesome until you have one, and then your girl is looking at you like you cheated. One of the reasons why I'm not, I have a separation with my wife was because, during her pregnancy, she just didn't want to, she didn't, she just wasn't sexual. And I was like, yo, it's like, what's up? It's been months. What's up? And she was like, oh, I thought you could get that. I thought you could get that taken care of. I thought you would get that taken care of, because she met me through the podcast.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. Is that what we doing? And I went into my roller fuck, and I made a couple of calls. And then when I was smashing somebody, right, then she was like, oh my God, how could you do this to me? We have a child together. I go, you literally told me this is what, like, to go handle this. So do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying, it is the logic of things are based on the emotion that a person has at the time when you're talking about it. And when it goes left, then a lot of times people are not going to be accountable for what they set up,
I got you.
Okay?
Yeah, man, I appreciate the call.
All right, brother. I appreciate you calling, man.
Have a good one.
Later. Yeah, it's a weird thing. You gotta, and here's another thing about that. Even that is that, when we talk about, now I was talking about getting a puppy, and you got to paper train your puppy. You gotta house train your puppy. Like, you have to not house train your significant other, but you got to be clear about what those boundaries are. And so, if you're gonna hold somebody accountable, you got to hold them accountable. And if you're not holding them accountable, expect them to be frivolous and
accept, press 1 to send
and frivolous about what they say and do. What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from, family?
What up, Dante? It's Danny from Utah. How you been?
What's going on, Danny? How you doing, bro? How can I help you?
I'm doing great. I just want to give you your props, Dante. I got a consultation with you a couple months ago, and I was slacking on the 5 bricks.
Right.
Lately, these past couple months, I've been daily 5 bricks. I don't end my day until the 5 bricks end. But
that's awesome.
You actually recently, I actually got laid, and I'm not trying to flex or anything, but I got laid. This is something I would have never been able to do fucking 6 months or a year ago.
Well, we can flex a little bit, can't we? We can flex.
Yeah,
Danny got laid, yo.
Yeah.
Flex a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta take the wins. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, it feels good. I feel like I'm not quite there yet. I'm still laying the 5 bricks, and I'm still seeing that girl I smashed a couple weeks ago. But slowly, I think it's slowly leading to a relationship. I'm still laying the 5 bricks, but I just want to give you your flowers, Dante. I'm not quite there yet, but
I appreciate it, man.
I feel like I could approach a lot more girls now, and just do the shit I couldn't do 6 months ago. You know, it's just crazy.
Well, I mean,
how
it's
changes.
if I told you, which I probably did, I told you it's life changing. You know, the process is life changing. It changes your life in ways that you never thought it could be. But I mean, you like I always say, I've gotten used to it. Oh, real quick, big shouts to Keisha. Keisha, what's up, baby? I'm doing fine. Had a little oral surgery, but I'm doing fine. But all in all, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Everything is a skill. You can learn anything. I mean, I don't know. Like I was talking earlier. I don't know if you jumped on early, but
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I was saying is we don't really know what our limitations are until we make an attempt to see where those lines are. You know. And so,
Right.
how old are you, Dan?
I'm 24. I just turned 24
Oh,
back
that's
in
dope.
March.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Now let me say this. I'm happy for
Uh-huh.
you.
Right.
I just keep laying the 5 bricks. I want you to understand that the dynamic of it is just like what you have to understand. There's levels to this, right?
Okay.
So what I mean by that is here's a situation where I made mistakes with the mother of my son because there was, being in a relationship is different than being in getting laid is different than staying laid is different than being in a relationship is different than being married is different than maintaining a marriage. I mean, there's levels to it. And so, I've made mistakes myself. I mean, it's great for you guys because you get to benefit from my mistakes, and I can help you navigate the mistakes that I made myself. And I'm also pretty transparent about admitting to what those mistakes are because I'm not perfect, and I'm just trying to be a better man, and
Mm-hmm.
and so being in a relationship is a whole different thing, also because once you're in a relationship, now if you stay righteous and you stay authentic and you stay credible, a lot of things don't change. But what happens is we start to gain insecurities because now people mean more to us. We have a vested interest in the relationship, and so a lot of times we're not as honest as we should be. We avoid conflict because we don't want the relationship to end. And if you have to, it becomes even harder. So, man, I'm happy for you. Keep doing the work. Keep consulting. Go to DanteNero.com. Click on consult with me anytime there's a question because you can either learn it on your own or you can get the
Yeah.
wisdom from me.
I did have one question though.
Sure.
You said
Let's go.
initially laying the 5 bricks, never to make it transactional, be honest.
Right.
And there was a couple moments where I fucked up and I made a transactional and I got their phone number and I communicated and we kept in touch, So that's why
Well,
I
first of
fucked
all,
up.
what do
But
you
I guess
mean? What do you mean you made it transactional? Because I mean I understand what you mean, but I don't know the specifics of it. How did you make it transactional?
so a couple of the days I fucked up because I went out to the club. I saw this bad chick. I went to go compliment her, and then if she kept talking to me, I would ask her for Instagram at the end of the night, and then we would chat, and it would lead to a date. But I would get the 5, make it honest, make it genuine. But sometimes I did fuck up by making it transactional in that aspect.
What do you mean? What do you mean making it transactional?
By grabbing their number, because that's transactional.
No.
Well,
Look, I mean, look, I don't know where we're at the phases, but what I'm saying, if you're laying the 5 bricks, the importance is to lay the 5 bricks. The other thing is that if you have if somebody's pitching back and forth, right, and you're at that level, because the whole reason why you lay the 5 bricks is so that you understand what it looks like to not be transactional. You also have to be the best version of yourself so that you know in your heart of heart that you have something to offer. Now, the way it becomes transactional is when you have decided that this woman is better than you, that she's doing you a favor by by talking to you or by letting you
But
take her out. Because the bottom
Okay.
line is, even if you're going out on a date, or even before the date, the other thing, why not ask for her number? Why ask for the
Why not?
Instagram? Yeah. Why ask for the Instagram instead of the number?
I don't know. I just feel sometimes it depends on the girl, but like I feel like Instagram leads the way to because I've met some girls that are kind of like weird about numbers and they don't give out the numbers right
Yeah,
away.
but it doesn't matter. The point is you're allowing them to dictate the tone of the relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah, and
mean,
then
somebody
another reason
says I
for
don't give my number out, or she goes, look, she goes, well, I give you my Instagram, and you go, I mean, look, you can take the Instagram if you want to, but understand something that somebody saying I don't give my number out, you can have my social media. What is the subtext of that?
So she at that point she's already making herself better than you.
Right,
You know, and
she's
you're allowing
she's
it.
stiff arming you. She's going, yeah, I don't know if you're worthy of my number or whatever, right? But what if you
Yeah.
said, listen, I'm not on social media, and I surely don't communicate with people personally on social media. So I get it if you don't want to give me the number, but I'm not on social media, you know. And if you have to if all you can get is take the Instagram, take the Instagram, and then watch you contact her, she DMs you, and then ask her to pick up the phone.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of times when I get their Instagram, I ask for the number, and that leads to a conversation on the number. But
I got it, but you understand you are getting stiff armed by her saying I'm not giving you my number. So what she's saying in essence, what she's in essence saying is you're not good enough to get my number.
Yeah.
And what you should be doing is going, I don't know if this woman is worth my time.
Right,
just because you want to sleep with her, just because you find her attractive, doesn't necessarily this is something that took me a long time to learn. Just because somebody's attractive, right? And I find them attractive doesn't necessarily mean they're worth my time or my energy. And that's man, women, or otherwise. They should still qualify. They should be trying to qualify for your attention the same way you're trying to qualify for hers. And if it's not mutual, hold on. Big shout, thank you, Angela. Angela sent me $49 on the Cash App. Thank you, darling. Aloha, nice to see you back online. Question, I'm curious, what questions you think everybody should ask before making their relationship seriously? I'll get to that in a minute. What I want to say is so what I'm saying is you understand that that's a stiff arm, her going, I'm not going to give you my number. Now I get it, because you know, anytime you catch fish, if you watch somebody bass fish and you ever watch them fish, they get a nibble on the and then they yank the line. Why do they yank the line? Because they're sinking the hook in so that they can reel it onto the. And the funny thing is, you can't, if you haven't found a way, you got to make the woman, she has to have an investment in you. So you got to sink the hook in. She has to be interested. And so you have to get that any way you get it, but understand what is the dynamic of what's going on. And understand that if somebody is just giving you the stiff arm and they're just deciding that I don't want to be bothered, or you got to do all the work, I don't know if you've ever got laid by somebody who doesn't want to fuck you, or somebody who's not into it.
I don't think yet, but maybe.
Or they're kind of, oh yeah, all right, I guess so, and it's like it's never worth the time or the energy.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody blowing you and they hold it and they do this before they and they hold their nose. You don't want, you understand what I'm saying? It's you want people who are interested in you. Now, there's more to that. It means that you got to be worthy you got to bring something to the table. You got to be working on yourself, working on being the best version of yourself. That's going to the gym, exercising, reading book, just being a better person, overall better person. And if you're not doing that, right, then there's nothing to entice her into go. But the fact remains that overall, there's so many situations where where women think just because they're attractive, right, that they have a right to just assume that they are worthy of your time or your energy. And they might not be. There's plenty of trash human beings who are attractive.
Yeah.
In fact,
especially women too.
Being somebody with good looks is the worst. I shouldn't say it's the worst, but they, really a moderately attractive women, they're usually the worst. They usually have the least personality. They're usually the worst lay. I'm not going to say all, but if they don't have to try. Big shout out to Xavier. Thank you for the cash out, brother. I appreciate you. So you know what I'm saying? So here's the situation when we go, oh, this girl is beautiful. I'm willing to sell my soul to gain access to her, but you haven't even had a conversation with her to decide whether she's even worth your time. Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
But if she's attractive and like she's your style or whatever, there's all this other stuff that's going on. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, man, and congratulations, bro.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Dante. I just had a call, check in real quick. I'll book another consultation soon. Keep killing it, man.
All right, everybody in the fucking comment, give Danny a fucking thumbs up, y'all. All right, I'm out, bro. Later.
Alrighty, man. Later.
Shit. Somebody just called. I was trying to switch over, but I couldn't. Yeah, it works, man. It works. If you believe me, it works. But I also do understand that there's I also understand that it's hard to perceive that things could be different, that you could change your life in ways that you never thought you could change it. Especially when we have spent so much time around people who don't really work at being the best version of themselves. We don't get encouraged to kind of spread our wings and kind of see what our limits are, how far we can go, how great we can be, how awesome. But man, it touches my heart that one of my little soldiers is getting in and trying to get a little girlfriend now. That's dope. I mean, I shouldn't say it like that because he's 30 years old, but to me, he's a little soldier. So there's that. That's dope. Let me see. Donea, what's going on? Thanks for saying you missed me on Godfrey show. I just get tired of his fans allowing dumb shit. So it's different for me. Hold on, we got a call. Let's see. Let's see.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Yo, what's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
What's your name? Where you calling from, family?
Oh yeah. This is Anthony. I'm calling from Washington.
What's happening, Anthony? How you doing? How can I help you, bro?
Oh man, I'm all right, man. I just had this weird. This was so stupid, man. I just wanted to ask you, see what could I've done better. But there's basically this girl who finally hit me up after almost 2 weeks of me giving her my number in the form of a card.
Okay.
Now the thing about it is she's already being disingenuous because she's calling me from her work phone and then initiates contact by texting me, hey, and not announcing who it is. Now, after the whole introduction thing, she then asked for a pic, which I sent her. And then once I asked for a pic as well, so I could confirm the person that I just met, she essentially refused because she just wanted to be nosy. But afterwards, she then sends me her real number to reach her to reach her on. But I wasn't having it, so I told her that she can reach me from that number when she sends a pic. If not, she can have a good one.
Right.
And I haven't heard from her since after that.
Well, this sounds to me. Here's something. What is funny is like anytime there's some weird shit going on, right? It's usually there's usually a reason why there's usually more weird shit behind it, right? Very rarely do you get those red flags, and it was just a coincidence that some weird shit was going on. So let me say that first and foremost. The second thing is, if you got somebody that's playing games and send me a picture and you don't send me a picture and here's my number and it's like, I don't really know, I don't know what that's about. I know that when you say it to me, it makes me feel uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the other thing is,
go ahead.
The other thing is she didn't call back. Like, how long ago did you tell her if you can't send me a picture, then good day to you?
Yeah, so this was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Like, she just hit me up, and I'm just like, who is this? She just said, hey, Anthony, and I'm just like,
she said what? She said her name? She said her name?
No, she said my name. She initiated contact with, she started the conversation with, hey, Anthony. And I'm just like, man, how are you just going to say my name and not announce yourself?
So did you ask her who she was?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what did she say?
But she said the girl from the grocery store because that's where we met.
Okay, did you know who she was from the grocery store?
No, because I meet so many girls.
All right.
So I'm trying to
so you
figure out.
You didn't even know who she was.
No, but that's why I asked. That's why I asked who was it?
Right.
And she said, this is actually no, she did say her name. She said her name, and the reason why I knew she was calling from a work number is because my ID said a different name.
Right.
So when I called her out on it, I'm like, are you lying or are you like, what's going on here? Because this showing me a different name. And that's what she was like, well, I'm calling from a work number. So in my mind, I'm just like, so why the fuck are you calling me from your work phone instead of texting me from your phone?
Well, she might have just been on the phone and called you. I mean, you can't, what if she just wanted to talk to you and the point is, did she call you from her number or no?
No, so eventually she texted me her number from her work phone and tried to do the whole, text me from there and we can, do whatever.
So why didn't you just text her on her personal number?
On her person? Well, because she was already being funny about, sending me a picture and I'm just like, yo, what, like, it to me is like you're already telling me that you're basically saying fuck you. I do what I want. This is going to go the way that I want it to go. So,
yes and no. So let me say this, right?
Oh, okay. All right.
So here's the thing you have to take into consideration. You hit on her. Right. How long ago did you hit on her at the grocery store?
Oh, this was almost probably 2 weeks ago, maybe.
All right, but do you remember the girl that you hit on at the grocery store?
Yeah, I remember her. It wasn't that long of a conversation because what I did was I just gave her my card. I just told her to hit me up.
Here's my point. She thinks that you thought she was special, right? So she hit you up, right? And her assumption was that you would remember who she is. And
Yeah.
she goes, well, I'm calling you from my job. And then she goes, hey. So her assumption is that she thinks you don't have no other options. Now, you can be honest about it. It says, could you send me a picture? I don't remember, right?
Yeah.
And then there's always a chance that she might take offense to that because she thinks she's special. Make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Right, because her assumption is not that you hitting on so many girls, like you playing the numbers game, you know what I mean? But the point is, if she does hit you back, then she instantly knows that you have options and that you're somebody that she's in. But it also could make her go, well, I'm not special. I'm gonna keep it moving. It could.
Right, I'm gonna leave him alone.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Or she might go, oh, wow, he got options. Let me, if he got options, there must be a reason why he got options. I'm fucking with him, So it could be that too. So I always, when we talk about always leading with authenticity.
Absolutely.
If you don't remember, just say, I don't remember. Could you send me a picture?
Okay.
And then you send me I don't remember. Could you send me a picture? Or if you did remember, did you remember what she looks like or no?
No, that's why I was asking her.
Then you go. Then the honest answer is I don't remember. Right.
Oh, so start with I don't remember, and then just
right now she might not engage you back because she thought she was special, and you didn't make her feel special. But if she does hit you back, right, this is always a great situation because you've already started this situation with the fact that she's showing interest, and not that can't change, but that's a good way to start off anyway. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, this is again a situation when we talk about ACE and we're talking about following through on the, we talk about just practicing the principles because the answers are always in the principles.
Yeah, because my thing is, I just don't want her to get this idea that everything is finna be her way. Because I need things to go in my
that could still happen. That could still happen. Even if she called you, even if she sent the picture, you're still gonna have to lay down your boundaries and figure out and make it clear to her what your non-negotiables are, whether or not she sends the picture or not. And so it's I think sometimes we get into a situation where we're worried about you're gonna play me like you can't get played. Even to the point where I'm gonna tell you something. I even say you can't get cheated on. And the reason why I say you can't get cheated on is that, look, a woman has her own body, just like you got your body. You could do what you want to do. She could do what she want to do. That's always up in the air, right? People are going to do what they want to do. When they are going, I am exercising my options, right? At least that's honest. Then you're not in a situation where you think it's something that it's not. But to the same token, big shout to Teddy. Thank you for the cash app for $2. Thank you, bro. Super chat for $2. Welcome back, Dante. Keep up the good work. Thank you, brother. My point is that we panic because we want to get it straight off the jump. No matter what it is, there's always going to be a feeling out process. You know what I mean? I don't care who you are. And that feeling out process is going to be something where there's things that y'all are not going to agree with. There's things that you are going to agree with. And you're going to have to flush that out depending on where this relationship goes. It's either going to happen now or it's going to happen later. Whatever her assumptions are about you now, it don't matter. She doesn't know you. It's going to be...
And I do try to take in consideration of that. It's just, the way I was processing, and I'm just like, if she's already being this resistant right now, I can only imagine how resistant she's going to be later on.
It's a possibility, or she might be. But if you say, I don't remember, you send me a picture.
Oh, absolutely.
And then she sends the picture, then that would remove that whole idea of your perception of where her head is at.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I guess what I'm saying is stop trying to be a mind reader about, I wonder what this means, or does she mean? Ask. Isn't it easier to just ask?
Oh, absolutely. So, and that's the next thing. Because within that conversation, you know, I said so. I'm just like, yo, so, like, are you going to send me some, or were you just trying to be nosy? And she basically admitted to it, because she said, yeah, I was being a little nosy. So now I'm like, okay.
Wait, what was she being nosy about?
Just wanting a pic.
What do you mean,
just wanting a pic from me?
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. So after she said that, that's when she texted me, you know, call me from this number, and I guarantee you it's real. And that's why I told her, I said, listen, you can hit me from that number when you send me a pic. You know, if not, you know, basically we ain't got nothing else to talk about. Because I just see you're already trying to play manipulative head games, and I'm not going for that.
So let me ask you this: what if she said if she said a picture and she was unattractive? What would you do?
I mean, oh shoot. Well, if she's unattractive, there wouldn't be anything else. But
okay, now let me ask you this: here's the second question: what if she was attractive, but when you talk to her, she was just like red flags and playing games? What would you have done?
If she was attractive, but she was playing manipulative head games?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it would have been over. Because I'm at a point.
Here's my point.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Here's my point.
Okay.
My point is, we have to have the empathy to understand that women have to deal with the fact that they are not, that every time they decide to go out with a guy, that they might be risking violence or grape, right?
Yes.
And so her cautiousness about whatever's going on, right, is something that is reasonable, right? Now, once y'all are talking and you're communicating, right? Then she has a right to be apprehensive. In fact, you don't want her to do something she don't want to do anyway, right? Until she's ready.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if you have the conversation, if it's the picture. It doesn't really matter which came first, the picture or the conversation. Because the bottom line is, if you really have the confidence that you say you have, right? Either one of those situations could disqualify her from even getting your time. But what you have to do is, you can't cut somebody off. You can't get to know somebody. You can't look, you got to get the fish on the boat first. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Before you can measure it and see if you got to throw it back in. Does that make sense?
Well, but yeah. So what I was just coming from is, like, because even if that's a thought in her mind, like, if she feels uncomfortable around me,
she doesn't know. Wait. She doesn't know you. She should feel
uncomfortable. I get that part. No. I do get that part, right? But I'm saying, like, if she has that feeling going on in her mind, then that tells me, I'm just like, damn, your attraction to me is not that high enough.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. She doesn't know. She doesn't know you.
I know, but check this out, right? I think about guys like, and I know this is a little extreme, but I think about guys like guys like Ted Bundy, basically, for an example. This dude was known for killing chicks, and despite some of these girls knowing this, they still wanted to mess with him.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
what are you talking about? You talking about after they knew he killed people, or you talking about before?
I think, after.
You talking about how women were saying he's so attractive and stuff like that?
Right, and then they
Yeah,
would
but
find out
nobody.
that,
They were saying he's attractive, but nobody was dating him once he was known to. He was killing people and cutting them up.
well, even when he was in the courtroom, right, there was
Yeah,
still
yeah,
hella chicks
yeah, because he was good
oh, yeah, go.
looking. He was good looking, but nobody was dating him. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, he had this girlfriend that he was messing with while he was going through his trials and everything. And
Yeah,
that's what I
but
mean. He even
but
had a
that
whole
was
kid.
it was already his girlfriend. What I'm saying is nobody was effing with him knowing that he could. And if they were, you're talking about the toxic chick who, I mean, that can't be your look. That can't be your baseline. Well, Ted Bundy got broads too. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Oh, so you're saying,
I'm saying you got to get the fish on the boat before you can decide
yeah,
whether
so,
it should be thrown back.
right, because you're just saying, like, because even if that was the case, that was all after the fact, so it don't really matter.
Right.
That's what you mean? Oh,
Right.
okay. All right.
Right. So you
All
gotta,
right,
you gotta,
okay,
so
all right.
you know what, all the nonsense that you gotta put through to, you know, to have a conversation with. Now, once you have a conversation with somebody, if you're still seeing red flags and stuff, then yeah, you go, okay, I get it. You're a weirdo. Moving right
Okay.
along.
All
But
right.
you gotta have that initial conversation. You know, you gotta find out if they're worthy of your time and your energy. And you gotta get the fish on the boat. You know, like if you catch a fish and it's too small that it's got to be thrown back in, you gotta measure it first. You know what I mean? So
And by having the fish in your boat, that meaning like you guys are actually
you
locked
gotta
into
catch it, right?
something.
You gotta catch it. That means you might have to send a text. You might have to get her off of social media. You might have to say, listen, you might take her social media and then hit her with a number and then get her on the phone and but then once you have a time to assess who this person is, that's when you go, okay, this is weird.
Oh, I see. Okay, then you can make the decision whether or not you want to pull the trigger.
Right, unless she's out and out disrespectful, because you have to assume that she's trying to protect herself.
Yeah, because I mean, I just always remembered, even from a guy like Rosebud, he always say, you know, don't introduce yourself, but present yourself. So that's what I kind of thought. Like,
yeah, but I mean, you gotta look. So I mean, you know, when you talk about that, if Rosebud was a straight out pimp, so you think because if Rosebud was if he was trying to turn a chick out, right? And he said, hey, I'm so and so, and she said, I'm not interested. You think he just gave up? No, he spit game, right?
Yeah,
he still spit game.
Absolutely.
So you know what I'm saying, and this is the thing that, you know, like I want y'all to have the self-esteem to understand when somebody's not of the caliber or somebody's playing games, so that you don't get into these funky situations. But I also I can't have you slamming the door. She go
too early.
You know, yeah. Like what's your middle name, bitch? Leave me alone. You know. So you don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So
okay, well, yeah, that's all I was calling for, man. So yeah. I mean, I really do appreciate the help.
All right, brother, no problem. You know, appreciate you.
All right, man. You take it easy.
Later.
Yep. Later.
Phone lines are back open, y'all. A couple people are calling in, and I sent it to voicemail because I didn't want to get interrupted. But yeah, you gotta have, you know what I mean? You can't yell at the fish to tell them to jump in the boat. That's just not, you know, and don't get me wrong, sometimes the fish will just jump in the boat. But you can't expect that. Resident Daniel, I said the book, we were already talking about this earlier. I don't know if you was on the live earlier. Get Anybody to Do Anything is one of my main books. It's not really it's not a game book, but it's a behavioral psychologist book. Yo, send me the Cash App is up too, yo. Send me some money. Stop playing. We got another call.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Yo, what's your name? Where you calling from, family?
Yo, what's up, Dante? It's Delano from Atlanta.
Yo, what up, kid? How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. What's the deal?
So, I was just wondering, what's your take on leaving a girl alone? When she's
give me more than that. Come on, Selena. You know we've done this.
When she's moved on, but she still gives you she's still flirting with you.
What are the parameters of this? You know better than to give me more information than this. Were you dealing with this girl?
Yeah, I'm seeing this girl.
And why did you stop? Why did y'all cut it off? Or did you cut it off, or did she?
She cut it off.
Okay. And what was the reasons for her cutting it off?
She wasn't liking that I wasn't committed. She wants open relationship.
Okay. So my question is, do you plan on committing?
Down the line.
Okay. Well, that means no. Right now, you're not planning on committing. My question is, so is she hitting you up, or what is she doing? Send you text message? What is she doing?
Nah, she's not hitting me up, but every time I see her, it's a flirtatious behavior. Not anything over like crazy, but just flirtatious interactions.
She what?
It's nothing crazy, just flirtatious interactions.
I don't know.
The chemistry is still there.
Well, I mean, is she trying to hook back up or
no? She's dropping like little signs.
So ask her. You know better than this, Selena. Then you ask her, yo, what's up? I thought you said you didn't want to deal. You didn't want to deal with me.
Okay.
And then if she has nothing to say to that, or no response to that, or she doesn't, then like stop. I'm not gonna be your friend. I like you, I care about you, but I'm not gonna be your friend, and nothing has changed. Do you want to hang out or you don't want to hang out? This idea of us trying to figure out what somebody means, or to interpret what somebody's actions are. I'm not them. I don't know. Neither do you. But if you really want to find out, then what do? You ask. You open your mouth and ask, right? I've told you that plenty of times. Yes?
Yeah.
And if you're trying to figure out what it means, then you don't have the self-esteem that you think you do. You understand?
Yeah.
If you can't just out now, yo, what's up? What's going on? Yo, you know, we was kicking it. You said you didn't want to kick it no more. What's going on? And if not, move on and stop, unless you're just having fun. This is, nobody should rent space in your head like that. If I'm worried, and this is anything, I know comics that maybe don't like me or don't act kind of funny around me. I'm like, you got a problem? Is there a problem? And they either gonna tell you or they're not gonna tell you. Now, if they don't tell you, then you gotta assume they don't want the smoke, or they don't want to deal with it. All of which, I'm gonna tell you something. Time is the commodity. Stop wasting time on people. Stop wasting time on people who don't matter. You like this chick. You had your run with this chick. She wants you to commit. But she's still. So now what you gonna do? You're gonna be her rebound guy? Because that's what a woman will do. She'll want you to commit and then hold you over the barrel and go, and then she's taking the booty hostage, right? Never negotiate with terrorists. You understand?
Well, this is where you said before you never asked. So when do you just? I
never said you never asked. If you want to know something, then you ask. But it just seems to me that it's obvious if she cut you off, that's what she said, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, she's either cutting you off because she's trying to leverage you into doing something you don't want to do, which is not going to work anyway, but you can say that. I don't want to, like I told you where I'm at on this. If you're not interested, that's totally fine. I'm not mad at you that you it's okay that you want something that I don't want to give you, but I don't get to, I'm not going to negotiate with terrorists. And if so,
Okay.
then all you got to do is just not be available. Okay?
All right.
All right, baby. Later. The thing that gets me is when I get questions like that, it's like you already know the answer to this. You know the answer to this. What you're doing is you're ego tripping, or you're trying to get an answer. You're trying to get an answer that you know I'm not going to give you. And I get that if you if this is your first time talking to me, or this is our first consultation, but I don't expect that from somebody who's been on the program
Chris.
consulting with me as long as
To
you've
accept,
been
press 1. To
consulting
send a
with me.
voicemail, press 2.
Yo, what's your name? Where you calling from, family?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Chris.
Well, Chris, how can I help you, fam?
Ain't too much, man. Got a kind of caught up in a little situation right now.
Do me a favor. Get on the phone.
Is that better?
You on the phone?
Yeah, is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, grand scheme, I just need the OG's expertise here because situation's a little hectic. I'm gonna
Let's
try
go.
to speed it up.
Let's go.
So I'm 30 years old, in a relationship for it'll be 5 years next week.
Okay.
Just hit a major impasse where we have a dog, no kids. We have a dog, live together. Our dog has had like a little medical situation where she now no longer wants the dog to sleep with us, basically, right?
She doesn't want the dog anymore?
She doesn't want the dog to sleep with us any longer.
Okay.
And it even kind of came down to like even that potentially having to happen, maybe having to get rid of the dog, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And I'm just not with it. And I'm just like, I mean, hey, with anything, if it comes down to kids, whatever, with her, I done stuff or whatever.
Where you breaking up, fam? Say again.
Kids, I said with her, like, I mean, I'm not.
You're breaking up, family. I can't really hear you. Try again. Hello? Chris, call me back. Lines are open. This already sounds like, I mean, I don't know if you're in a relationship with somebody for 5 years. I don't, just so I can say, I don't think it's unreasonable for somebody to say, I don't want a dog in my bed. Now it's another thing if she wants to get rid of the dog, but I don't think, I mean, there's a certain compromise. I don't think a dog, like I got a cousin who does nothing but train dogs. And I'm gonna tell you right away, he would never let you have your dog in the bed with him. But that's the whole thing. I'll wait till Chris calls back. And I think we're just gonna be the last call for the night. Unless I get a couple in there trying to slide in under the wire. It's good to be back, y'all. I mean, I appreciate y'all. Big shout to everybody. Big shout to Xavier, my soap. Red Brick in the building. Mike, Tyke Myson, Resident Daniel, Ahmed Al Nahar. I hope I said that right. Teddy P. Thanks for the $2, Teddy. Appreciate you. Jesse Burgers, Jabril Afrique, Dirty Dell. I don't remember the show. Dirty Dell said came to one of my shows. I don't remember, but I mean, I do what I do. Big shouts to Angela, Donald Delight, Swank Bono. What up? Yeah, I think this is Chris.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Chris, that you?
Yeah, it's me, man. Is that better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, bet. So, all right. So, like I said, I was trying to get you caught up on the situation.
Okay.
Already in a relationship
So she don't want
going on
she don't
5
want the
years.
dog sleeping in the bed.
Basically.
Why?
And
What
the
was
thing
the
is,
change? What was the change?
So it's just the fact that he has like, I gotta get a test done on him to figure out if he has pancreatitis. Because like once in like 4 to 5 weeks, he'll have this situation where it's like a little, when I say little, I'm talking about literally like 4 drops of like what from his anal glands basically, right? And then basically, you just gotta wash, you wash the sheets, whatever, you move on, no problem. I mean, not the sheets, the comforter, the whole nine, whatever, no problem, and you move on. But then that one thing led to another. We had this whole blow up argument essentially, and the thing is like when it went south in a way that was just like, it was the first time I witnessed this from this person where it kind of got to a point of I had to leave. I'm not believing during the arguments, that kind of thing, but it was to a point where
Okay, wait
I
a
didn't
minute.
recognize
How long
who
you
I
been?
was
How long
seeing
you been with this
pushing
girl?
me. We're going on 5 years in a year.
You love her?
I mean, in a week. I'm sorry.
Do you love her?
I do.
Okay, let me ask you this. You think it's unreasonable to not want the leakage from a dog anal gland in your bed? Do you think that that's an unreasonable ask?
No.
Okay, so then what is it? She wants to get rid of the dog?
So
Or what do you let me put it like this. What do you want? Do you want to you want the dog sleeping in the bed and want to have to wash sheets? Or I mean, dog, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm like I was saying before you hung up. One of my one of my first cousins, he teaches Caney Corsos. He would tell you, do not have the dog in your bed. He absolutely would say that. But what kind of dog is it?
He's a dash hound mixed with an elk hound. He's a small dog.
All right, but I mean, it's not unreasonable for a woman to not want anal leakage in her bed from a dog, is it?
No, so that's the thing is like that part of it is not really so much of my problem versus like all of the other stuff that comes with it. So I'm gonna try to keep it real simple. He's a rescue. He had him since he was a puppy. He has like this like abandonment thing, the whole nine. It's sort of like she's already been kind of exiling him for like the last 10 days, and you see the change in him basically. And for me, it was just kind of like you seeing it. It's almost like flipping this whole thing upside down because of a situation that we've been trying to figure out for the last like year or so. And to me, I guess, like I said, I'm thinking about it symbolically, where I'm just thinking of a bunch of other things where it's like, for me, I'm willing to figure out what's taking place versus the simple fact that it's like, to me, it's something that is small. And I understand, like, and what I mean by that is
it's not small. If you got it's small to you because you love the dog, but it's not small.
I guess that's my point.
You love the dog and you don't mind anal leakage and washing anal leakage out. I don't think that's unreasonable. If you're telling me that there's something else, what else is going on that you have a problem with?
So in the discussion, it went from it being about the situation and then it blows up. And the thing is that that's the thing. So it's not even about, like, for me, I have an issue with him doing it. You see what I'm saying? It's
you have an issue with him doing what?
I have an issue with the fact that this does happen as well. The difference is just that, like, I'm willing to, like, it's not as if I'm just like perfectly fine with it. It's just that it's something that happens every once in a blue moon. It's something that we have to deal with, and then we recognize that he has a medical problem. Well, we got to go figure this out. We got to pay to go get the test.
Yeah, but dog, you understand that it's not unreasonable for a human being to say, "I don't want a dog in the bed with me."
I agree.
And it's fine if that's what you want, but I mean, and if you're going, well, I know you don't like anal leakage in the bed, but I don't have a problem. I don't like it either, but I don't have a problem with it. We just wash the sheets, and she's going, no, I don't want this dog leaking in my bed. Now, if you're telling me that there's more to it than this, you are not communicating that with me.
So I'm trying. That's why I said it's a whole. So
Well, you're telling me it's a whole thing. What you said was the dog. She don't want the dog to sleep in the bed. What else?
Right. So then that led to a discussion that turned into an argument.
What is the argument about?
It starts. So the argument is, of course, the discussion is initially about
what is. You still telling me? You're not telling me what the argument is about. What is the argument? What are you arguing about?
It basically led from the dog to essentially all of these other different things. And
what other things? Like, you said that 3 times. I'm asking you again. What is the other thing?
I'm trying to condense it down. So
I don't want you to condense it down. I want you to give me the specifics of what she has a problem with.
Okay, so of course, it starts from the situation with the dog.
I know where it starts from. You keep saying that, and you keep saying you're trying to condense it. I'm asking you specifically, what is her complaint?
It goes from the dog to basically me not caring about, I guess it's like her, and then it's like her, and then she talks about, her safety as far as like, her health is concerned. And then it led to basically like, I'm thinking of the dog before her.
She's right. Then, you are.
Okay.
Are you not?
I guess from my perspective is just, I think in the moment, like I'm explaining, see, for you and I think I understand the situation regarding the dog.
Clearly don't understand. You don't understand the situation. Okay. She's saying the dog is sick, has a medical problem. I don't want the dog sitting in the bed, basically. And you're saying, what are you making a big thing about it? It's fine. It ain't no big thing. And to her, she's saying it is a big thing. And by you arguing with her about just saying that a dog shouldn't be in the bed, right? You're having an argument on her. So she's absolutely right that you care about the dog more than you care about her. You care about the dog more than you care about her comfort.
So I'm doing this in a very, like the way I'm explaining this is in a very civil manner. None of this.
What do you mean? You're explaining it to her in a civil manner?
No. Me and you talking.
No. I'm not. I understand you being civil, but I'm just saying. You're telling me.
Oh no. What I'm saying is that the conversation, it was not. So that's what I'm getting at. Is that's the problem that I had. It's not about the situation. It's not about any of that stuff. For me, it was the fact that it got to a point where I literally had to remove myself from an area.
Yes. Why did you have to? If she says, I'm uncomfortable with this dog sitting in the bed, and you're going, it ain't no big thing. The dog is sick. I still want the dog in the bed. Then what is the subtext of that? You're saying to her that I am not comfortable. What's more important to me is the comfort of this dog than your personal comfort in our bed. Do you not understand that that's what you're saying?
I would disagree.
You can't disagree, okay. Because what she said was, I'm uncomfortable with the dog in bed. The only way that she's wrong about that, if you said okay, I won't have the dog in the bed no more, then she would be the priority, right? Yes.
I'm going to so technically yes, but the thing is that the issue is simply there's been too much work done with this dog. Like we got the dog because of her. She wanted the dog, and then what I'm saying is the work that's been done to get the dog to where he is today has been significant. And
you are again these things, understand something,
right?
You are now. Wait a minute. Let me be clear. You are now trying to make a case for the dog over the discomfort of your girl. It doesn't matter that she wanted the dog. When she wanted the dog, she didn't sign up for the dog sitting in the bed, right?
I disagree, because my thing is that if you sign up to take care of anything, specifically that's
We're not talking.
nonverbal,
Does
no
she
matter
want to
what the
get? Does
case
she
is,
want to
if
get
it
rid
has
of the? Does she want to get rid of the dog, or does she want the dog not
potential,
sleeping in the bed with her?
no, potentially, if we could potentially, she may potentially want to get rid of the dog.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Then you're gonna have to decide whether it's more important to keep the dog than keep your girl. You got to make a decision. If you think that the dog is more important than your girl, then who am I to tell you how to choose? But what I'm telling you is that her going, I don't want this dog leaking in my bed, is not unreasonable. And you're coming up, you're even trying to sell it to me that, well, she wanted the dog. We got all this time and effort we put into this dog.
I'm giving context.
Huh?
I'm trying to give you the context.
It doesn't. What I'm telling you, the context
Okay.
says everything. The context says that you want the dog to still sleep in the bed, right?
I don't want to change the dog's environment.
Right. That's what I said. So you're okay with the dog
But
sleeping
what I'm
in the
saying
bed.
is that right. But the thing, it's not just because I like that's just something.
It doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter.
But see,
Let me explain something to you.
It does, because the thing is that if you have a child,
it's not a
this is
child.
supposed to be.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. It's not a child.
I agree. I completely agree with you. But if this is supposed to be the leg towards the next, and this is not.
No,
me,
it's not. Your dog.
I agree with you.
Okay, your dog is not your child. It's not the next leg.
That's what I'm saying.
This is not. If you're saying that you're saying that this is a reference to how she's gonna see y'all having kids, you're mistaken. Your dog is not your kids.
But how do you then take somebody's word for what it is? And because my thing is
because one is a dog, and one is a child.
I agree with you, but my thing is that if someone is to sit up there and act as if this is supposed to be the next leg to something, and if I'm watching you treat something that doesn't have,
I'm telling you,
no control over
having a pet. The reason why we call it a pet is because it's a pet. It's not a baby. It's not a child.
I agree with you.
Okay, then there's.
But I'm saying is that her words that's what I'm saying is that it's not you or I. These are words that have been said. These are actions that have been done.
What do you mean? What, that she said this is she said this is our baby? That's what you're saying?
No, it's essentially like this is let's take this is our step first before having a child. I want to work with I want to have the experience of taking care that whole
Chris, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Oh, I agree with you. Trust me.
Well, if you agree with me, then there's not then the decision you got to make is your wife's comfort in the bed, right? Like you got to know you're not going to have a kid and then your kid has diarrhea and she's going to go, you got to get rid of this kid. Nobody's doing that. Nobody does that. Getting rid of a dog is not the same thing as putting your kid up for adoption. She didn't give birth to this dog. It is a dog. It's not a human being. It doesn't come from her DNA. It is not the same thing.
Can I we done held on to this. I wanted to get to the next leg of it, which was the discussion that led to a situation that made me have to leave my home. That's what I really wanted to get to. And the reason why I said that is because I'm somebody that I feel as if I've never put my hands on a woman. I hate even raising my voice. Truthfully. The thing is that I witnessed somebody that literally had the wherewithal to turn the environment upside down from a discussion to the point where I literally left my home because I literally.
Why do you think she took it so personal?
I would say it's simply because she genuinely thinks like her health is at stake.
Why else? Why? Yes, she probably does think her health is at stake. But why else did she take this personally?
I think I genuinely, and this is just from my perspective, I believe she put herself between. She put the dog in between she found a way to create some divide in a sense. And granted, once again, and the thing is, the way I'm explaining this to you is very simple. And the thing is, like, I'm doing this in a way that's like, this is not how it went by any means. And the thing is, like, so for you and I to have the discussion, I would prefer, if it would have been like this, I promise you the outcome is different. But the thing is that it was approached in a very abrasive manner. I stayed calm from the jump. The thing is that it then led from one thing to the
Okay,
next.
let me say this. I'm going to make this clear. It's not that I want you to understand. It's not that I don't get what you're saying. What you're saying is she jumped out the window, and because she jumped out the window, you had to leave the house because you didn't think that her response to this was reasonable, and so you got upset and you felt like you had to leave the house. Now, I'm going to give you a perspective that maybe you haven't thought of. The fact that she said that she has made it clear to you that her health might be at risk, and the fact that she's telling you that she don't want the dog sleeping in the house.
Exaggerated though.
Huh?
That's the one thing I want to clarify. I said the one thing I want to clarify.
Doesn't matter if she don't want dog shit.
I know.
You keep saying you know.
Shit.
Wait a minute, Chris. You keep saying
because
you know.
You
keep saying you know, but what I'm saying to you is she don't want a dog shitting in her bed. So the question is,
shit, he wouldn't be in the bed. That's what I'm saying. If it was shit, he wouldn't be in the bed to begin with.
Okay,
that's what I'm
it doesn't matter. Anal leakage, whatever it is. She's saying I don't want a dog in the bed. And the dog, it was fine, the dog in the bed until the dog's ass started leaking. Now, if you think it's okay, right? And she's saying, I'm uncomfortable with a dog's asshole leaking in my bed, right? And she tells you that, and you don't take her side, you're taking the dog's side over hers. And so she's jumping out the window because she doesn't feel safe with you because you are siding with a dog instead of your girl.
Is it? All right. So let me ask you this: can two things not be true? Can she not be excessively compulsive and making things like I'm talking about exaggerating things in a way? Because like even when I explain it, I always have to explain it like either way. What I'm getting at is that can two things not be true? Can that not be the case? But can she also not be exacerbating the entire scenario?
Maybe she is jumping out the window on this. But I don't think that it's unreasonable for a partner to say, I don't want anal leakage in my bed from a dog. And if I tell you that as your girl, I expect you to take my side. It's one thing if she say get rid of the dog. That's maybe you might have an argument, but she's saying I don't want the dog in the bed now because of the fact that you have argued with her about not letting the dog in the bed. Now it's not about just the dog's anal leakage and keeping him off the bed. It might be about getting the fucking dog, getting rid of the dog. Because what you're exhibiting is the fact that you care more about this dog's comfort than your girl. You don't see that there's a problem in that?
I'm trying to.
You don't see that there's a problem with your girl, who's a human being, that you put the dog over her.
I don't believe that I'm put like I don't.
I'm telling you, you are. I'm telling you, are you in the anybody in the comments? If you agree with me, put a number 1 in the comments.
And I just want to clarify. My problem is not about it's what it led to. That's what I keep I'm trying to get to is that it's what the person.
What I'm saying is you stoked that fire when you didn't go. Oh, baby, you don't want the dog in. All right, we'll have to, we'll get him a doggy bed or whatever. We'll keep him off the bed. If you had done that, do you think that any of this would have jumped, and that she would have jumped out the window?
No, and I think at the same time, I refuse just to concede to somebody that makes random, I'm not gonna say random. You're
right, but you're saying random because you think it's random. You think
I want to correct myself. Not random. I'm saying like moves the yardstick on a continuous basis. The thing is that I understand,
Chris,
like,
Chris, what moves the yardstick is that the dog is now leaking in the bed that y'all sleep in. That's what changes the dynamic of this.
I'm sure leaking. It sounds way worse than that. That's
I don't care if it's one time. If it's one, what if she just decided that I don't want a dog that's walking all over the floor and walks out in the street and walks on the sidewalk? I don't want that dog in my bed. She's not wrong.
I want to clarify even with that. Like the thing is, like the dog is not dirty. Like in the thing, and I say this in a way,
Chris,
like, let me not,
I don't care.
I mean.
I don't care. I don't care. Listen, I don't let a bitch in. Wait a minute. I don't let a bitch in my bed with her street clothes. You understand?
I agree.
So I don't understand what the argument is, Chris.
He gets wiped with microbial fiber, whatever the stupid wipes, expensive ass wipes I had to buy, because of the fact that we were making sure everything here is clean. That's what it's not just this one simple thing. It's all of these layers to. I spent tons of money to make sure the dog is taken care of. I done went to extensive lengths to make sure the dog is taken. All of that stuff.
Let's say the dog you wipe the dog down with microbial and this and that and the other, and she decides she don't want to sleep with a dog. Do you think that that's unreasonable?
What I'm getting at is 3 years later.
No. You keep changing. I need you to answer the question. I'm asking a question. If she decides that I don't want a dog in the bed with me, you think that that's unreasonable?
I believe I would say yes if you've fine with it for 3 years.
Okay, yes. And so I can't. So can I not change? Listen, it's not all of a sudden. It's all of a sudden because the dog has anal leakage. That's what the difference is.
My thing is that I understand.
It doesn't matter if you look, Chris. It doesn't matter if you understand. She said, "I don't want the dog and I don't want the anal leakage in my bed." You said, "Oh, now you switching up. You was good with it for the last 3 years, and now you want to change." And then she feels
it was questions. I had posed questions. That's what I'm saying. It was not immediately off of.
Doug, the simple fact that she said, "I don't want anal leakage in my bed," and you ask questions, says it all. It says to her, it communicates to her that the dog is more important than she is. I don't know how you don't see that.
Because I feel as if she's exacerbating the scenario in a way in which, like, even now. So let me ask you this. Let me pose a question to you. If a woman has made a requirement or claim, let's say 5 years after you guys have been doing something, give me
specifics. Don't give me a general. Give me a specific.
I'm trying to.
I need a specific scenario that you want to ask me. How about we do this? How about we do this?
I was trying to give you a hypothetical.
Give me a specific hypothetical. How about a guy has a dog? A woman asks, here's a hypothetical for you. A guy has a dog. He loves the dog. She loves the dog. They agree that the dog is in the house. All of a sudden, the dog starts leaking from his ass. The girl goes, "I don't want this dog leaking in my bed." Yes, she has every right to change her mind. Yes. So that's a hypothetical. You need any other hypothetical?
My main thing is this. No. To answer your question, no. My main question
well then you care about the dog. You care about the dog more than you care about your girl. And if that's the case, then you keep the dog, because you're gonna lose your girl because of this dog. Because you don't mind the dog leaking in the bed. That's what's gonna happen.
My problem is it's a simple fact.
It doesn't matter what I'm telling you. What it is, you keep reiterating this like I don't agree with you. I think you're being I think that you're being unreasonable.
I'm trying to get okay. So, but my thing is that it's not even. I keep saying it's not even about that portion of it. What it got to is what my issue is. It's the fact that it's when I say I had to leave my home, is because I I don't need, like, we have neighbors, right? This is something that has happened previously, where we've had another discussion that led to an argument in which I see this person that ends up turning, like, I then have to get loud.
Okay,
to get
so
her
then
to
this
listen.
is not about.
And
Are you?
that's what I'm-
Wait a minute. Stop. Are you
That's
saying?
what I've been
Are
trying
you?
to get to.
Okay, but are you saying that she jumps out the window all the time?
It's happened multiple times, but this time.
Okay, why did it happen? Why did it happen before?
All right, man. What's the situation? Lord. I actually called you about one before. It was when I ended up. Well, I don't want to tell too much information. It was essentially I got a job, right? I got a job. Like, it was a job that it's a dream job, basically. Worked on it for weeks. Life was amazing. My personal life at home was toe up because she had this issue with the fact that I guess that I've gone on to do something that I've dreamt to do since I was a child, right? And
what was her problem with the job?
Oh, you know what? I got another one. Here we go. Okay, so here, this is same situation. I'm just brushing over it. Dream job comes up. I have to do. I potentially have to act out a action that she wasn't the most comfortable with.
What's the action?
Kissing. Okay, and fuck it. It's for film, professional.
And you you got to do a sex scene.
Wasn't even a sex scene. It's a kiss, and it's like the most elementary thing in the world. And the thing is that it turned in which, once again, it is something that's completely I never,
Okay, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. I don't understand why you would think that she's secure in you doing a sex scene or a love scene or a kiss when you won't even put the dog out the bed because of the anal leaking.
This is years. No, that's all right. All right.
What I'm saying to you is, her response to you says that she doesn't believe that you think she's important. That's why she's responding this way. And if you are telling me,
if you've done everything,
what happened?
If you've given them no reason not to be like, and I mean absolutely no reason. You do everything from top to bottom to make sure that they are secure.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you something.
It's not as if I'm negligent.
Let me ask you. Can I ask you a question?
Oh, of course. My bad. I'm listening.
Let's say you had a girl and she was doing porn, right? Okay. She decided and you wouldn't be with her, right?
I mean, off the jump, yeah. I mean, I would never have even gotten into anything. I mean, it's not my thing.
Why not?
No
why not? Why not?
We would have never that's. Once I found it out, that's just something.
Why not? You're not listening to the question. Why not?
Why? It's just that's not something that I'm not. I don't even want to say condone. It's just not something that it's not somebody I would want to be with.
Okay.
Like I would have never even gotten into a relationship.
Okay, so let me explain something to you. I've said this 100 times, and we're going way over time, and I got to go to bed. But let me say this. I've said to you, relationships are really easy. You have to understand what your non-negotiables are, and then never negotiate them, right? So if her non-negotiables are that she don't want some dude doing love scenes in acting and doing love scenes, she's allowed to do that. Just like you wouldn't want her sucking nobody off. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it is the same thing because there are guys who date porn stars who don't care. I know there's this chick, Lisa Ann, that fucking gets gangbanged by 6 dudes. Her husband don't mind at all. The point is I'm not judging it either way. What I'm saying is you get to decide what your non-negotiables are. And if this woman if she's not somebody who's going to let you rock the way you want to rock, then you want to rock the way you want to rock, whether or not you want anal leakage in the bed, you want to do a sex scene, whatever the fuck you want to do, then maybe y'all are not compatible. So you got to decide. You got to decide what is more important. You got to decide what's more important.
I
Is your
gotta-
relationship
I
with
gotta
her,
go.
or is her because I totally get why she would not think that you put her first, because you won't even put the dog out the bed.
My thing is have you
I know that, Chris,
in a
but what you're
situation
saying
with
is
someone
you're
that-
arguing this anal leakage in her bed the same way you're arguing everything else. You're putting it all in one big pot. And what I'm saying to you is that says significantly about how you are unable to see what her point of view is. She don't like it.
I mean,
She don't like
the
it.
thing is that I think if you exacerbate a situation, though, and I think if you're not honest and credible in how you're even approaching something, then I think, and I genuinely think like that's the reason. Like my thing is that I always have to course correct in a way, because that's the reason why I left. And the reason why I left is because it genuinely got to a point where I felt threatened for my safety in a way, because I didn't need neighbors calling. It's like I get that.
What I want to say to you, let me say what you let me just say what you said in a way that she would hear this, and then I'm gonna let you go. I feel threatened in a way because if we got a dog and the dog is got anal leakage in the bed, I don't see why she's bitching about it. I mean, we could deal with it. You promised you wanted the dog. We've been working on the dog for 3 years. And so what? You agreed that we would have a dog, but the dog is leaking anal leakage from the gland and is out his ass, and I don't see a big problem with it. Now you're gonna jump out the window and make a big thing about this? I don't see the problem. Look, you could think that, right? But I don't think that anybody you said this story to, just look in the comments. Look in the comments what everybody's saying.
I'll go back and look at it. My thing is that that's not even my problem. It's not even that's my situation.
But do you understand what I'm saying is that she's saying, I don't want this dog in the bed because he's leaking in my covers, and it doesn't even matter if it's about her safety. The level of comfort of not wanting that in your bed, right? I don't think that that's unreasonable. I don't even want I don't even have a chick in my bed with street clothes. That has nothing to do with the fact that I'm quite sure if you said, she wanted to get a dog, and you said, if you had said in the beginning, you said, listen, I'll tell you right now, we'll get this dog, but if he starts leaking in the bed, you're going to have to sleep with the dog anyway. She probably would go, yeah, you know what? I'm good with the dog.
We should never got the dog to begin with. That's my point.
What?
I would have never got the dog to begin with. That's what I'm saying. Is that's
you did, and things changed. And the bottom line is you got to decide what's important. You want to keep the dog, or you want to keep your girl? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, what you're doing.
I left because my safety is what was important.
Yes, but your safety. The reason why, like, now, if you want to talk to me about how she jumped out the window and how yes, but it's not unreasonable for her to say, if I said to some chick, if I was dating some chick and she had the dog in the bed, and I was like, listen, she was like, look, let's live together. You know what I would say? We can live together, but I ain't gonna have this dog can't be in the fucking bed. And if you want this dog in the bed, then you keep your apartment and I'll stay in my apartment, and we'll whatever the fuck it is. I would just take a stand. But y'all are already living with each other. And this is a condition that has happened through time. He wasn't always doing this. The dog wasn't always doing this. This is a new development. So you got to reassess what the situation is. We'll just agree to disagree. I just don't think it's unreasonable for your girl to go, I don't want the dog anal leakage in my bed. You could disagree with me, but I'm telling you what you're going to do is you're going to end up ending your relationship, because what she's going to do is she's going to look at you like, you think the dog is more important than me. That's why she's jumping out the window. Now she may be insecure. She may have abandonment issues and whatever else. But It's still in all. I don't need that. Don't have nothing to do with the anal leakage. And I get that you don't like the response and how extreme the response was, but you're wrong. You're wrong.
So therefore, okay, all right,
All right,
got you.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
You got it, man.
All right, later.
Appreciate you, man. Go.
All right, everybody. I gotta go and wash the anal leakage out of my covers. I appreciate y'all listening. Yeah. Don't forget, y'all. Please, one-on-one consultations at DanteNero.com. Click on consult. Y'all know how to get me. Don't forget to share and comment. Please comment on everything. Give a thumbs up. Please give us a thumbs up on everything. And also, if you want to support the bonus content, best way to support the show, we back on the grind on a consistent. I will be going live on Sunday. Support the show on the patreon.com/manschool202. GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? Sexual resolution being podcasted. I love y'all, man. It's good to be back. Good to see y'all, man. Thank you to everybody. Big shout to Michael McCannon, sent me $5 on the Cash App, and Xavier Carino on the Cash App. Thank y'all so much. Good night, y'all. Later.